Hello, everyone. This is the Insert Title Show, and I'm your host, Wolf Strife. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about Battlefield 1. When this game was announced, I was extremely excited about it. I got Oompy together, we watched the premiere, got to see them show the trailer a couple of times, and we were just stoked. I don't even know when this was. I guess this was like back in April or June or May or sometime around there. And we were just totally excited for it. And thankfully, we only had to wait a couple of months for the game to come out because, nobody knew what the game was going to be about or even what time period it was going to be in before the announcement. So when it was announced World War One, I was like, bow fucking down, motherfucker. Because finally, we're going to have a big studio make a World War One game. So I was very excited about that. And so when I got the game and finally got to play it after a couple of days of just having it sit on my floor because I was too busy working to really just sit down and play the game, because I wanted to wait until I had free time to play the game for real. I didn't want to just play it for an hour and then go to work or go to bed. I wanted to just sit there for like 5 hours and play the game. So after a couple of days of just having it sit on my floor, I finally got to play the game. And it's very good, very good. Not as good as I was hoping it was going to be, but overall it's a very good first-person shooter. The campaign is pretty good, pretty damn short. I went through it on the hardest difficulty my first time, and probably only took me about, 8 or 9 hours to beat it, which is very, very short for a first-person shooter campaign, if you compare it to other first-person shooter games. But, yeah, it's a pretty good campaign. The first mission is pretty freaking cool. I liked how that was done. Basically, you get to play as a couple of different soldiers, having them basically make a last stand against the Germans. And each time you die, it gives you the name of that soldier and his birth year and death date and stuff. So it's kind of like, oh shit. And you get to see a good bit of the variety in the game. Like you have to go up against flamethrowers and just all the different kinds of infantry weapons and stuff. And you get the gun on a tank, which was pretty fucking cool. And then the second set of missions, you get to be a American fighter pilot fighting for the British. I think they were what were they? They weren't the Royal Air Force. They were the Royal Air Corps or something. I can't remember, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I like that. I like the story in that one the most. It was really cool. It was kind of like I don't know. It was kind of written like a short story or a vignette, and the ending of the set of missions for that one was pretty freaking cool. Yeah, I like that one a lot. And the flying itself is fucking nuts. You go from training in the Alps to an all-out dogfight over London, which of course was bullshit because these airplanes only had a range of about 100 miles. So yeah, that battle would not have happened in real life. But hey, if they do Battlefield 2 and it takes place in World War II, well, now we know they can do a pretty good version of the Battle of Britain. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, that was a good set of missions. I don't even know what to call them. I guess mini campaigns or I don't know. But some of them only have like 2 missions. Some of them only have 3 or 4. So it's kind of eh. The next set of missions was on the Italian front, I guess, up in the Alps, and that was a really cool one. The first mission you start off as an elite stormtrooper Italian guy who's like wearing a full set of armor and carrying a machine gun. So yeah, that was pretty cool. You're basically leading your fellow. I think they were the Arditi, basically the elite Italian mountain troops. So yeah, you're leading those guys up the mountain and taking on the Austrians. So yeah, that was really cool. And I guess another one, I think I actually got them out of order, but another set of missions is the tank one. The tank one was pretty cool. The story was okay. The characters were okay, I guess. The gameplay was pretty good, though. Kind of tough. Like, basically, you drive a tank around, killing enemy artillery emplacements and taking out trench lines and stuff, so that's kind of cool. But then you have to get out of the tank and do a lot of stuff, which is kind of hard. And then the final mission on that set of missions was really tough, especially on the hardest difficulty. You're having to go up against like 5 or 6 German tanks at once at the Battle of Cambrai. So, yeah, that was a tough one. And then another one, and probably the most unique in this game, was the Gallipoli campaign, where you're having to play as an Australian soldier, and that was really cool because that was something I have never gotten to do in a video game before, was fight the Gallipoli campaign. So yeah, that was really cool. And I guess the final set of missions was in Arabia, where you're having to help out Lawrence of Arabia against the Turks, or the Ottomans, whatever you want to call them. And that was kind of cool. I mean, you're having to do a lot of sneaking around because you're like a 5'2", 200-pound chick. So, yeah, you're not going to be whooping ass too much. But it was kind of cool. I didn't think the script was too good in that part of the game, but it was okay. The last mission on that one was pretty nuts because you're having to go up against an armored train on foot. So definitely look for a T-Gewehr on that one. And so yeah, that's all the campaign missions, and they were pretty cool. The multiplayer in the game is, your standard Battlefield stuff, so nothing really too new, but the setting's cool, the guns are okay for the most part. I definitely am going to have to work my ass off to level up and unlock some more stuff, because I want the Springfield rifle, I want the Gewehr 98, I want all the knives. Like, you can have a bolo knife, you can have a trench knife, you can, really get some cool shit. And of course I got my M1911 Colt 45, which is my favorite handgun in the Battlefield games, so that's awesome. Kind of crazy, but that was basically state-of-the-art new technology at the time of World War I. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, hell, I guess in Red Dead Redemption you get to use that gun, and that game takes place in 1911. So, yeah, it's really, really new in that game. So, yeah, the multiplayer is pretty cool, pretty fun. Me and Oompy have been rocking some balls. I wish we had more people to play with, because that would make the game a little more fun. Because basically what I like to do is just hop in my tank and whoop ass, and Oompy likes to kick ass up in the air as a fighter pilot. So I would like to have more buddies around to make the running around as infantry guys more fun, because usually when I run around as an infantry guy, I usually get outnumbered by like 2 or 3 to 1, so I usually get my ass whooped. But sometimes I'm okay, like I'm a pretty good sniper and stuff, but yeah, it would be fun having more people to play with, so that we could use squad tactics and stuff. So, but we'll see what happens. Now, the game is not a finished product whatsoever. There's going to be a bunch of updates coming out, and then when all the premium stuff comes out, that should probably add a bunch of maps and guns and stuff to the game. So that's gonna be nice. Like, I think already the next update, they're going to add more vehicles and planes and stuff that you can use, which would be nice, because right now you can only, each side can only have 2 planes in the air at once, or 2 tanks, or armored cars and stuff. So, yeah, adding another one will definitely help with the waiting time and stuff, because that's really fucking annoying. Because in Battlefield 3, there were plenty of tanks and planes and helicopters that, you didn't have to wait for anything. You just spawn and hop in your vehicle of choice. But in this game, you have to sit around and wait a while because there's only 2. So, yeah. I am looking forward to the premium stuff coming out. I do have some criticisms of the game. Basically, I was hoping this game would be better just overall and more unique, like actually add a bunch of more stuff to the genre, and to just maybe be better and more different than the other Battlefield games. Like, I was hoping it would be more violent and brutal. And I guess the melee kills are pretty crazy and visceral, but it's not really... I mean, you kill somebody so quickly with a knife, you don't really get to see the gore or anything. And the shooting violence is pretty tame. And that kind of bugs me, because I wanted this game to just be rough and brutal and just gritty and just wanted it to be horrible, really. And, when you shoot somebody with a gun in this, they kind of just fall to the ground. There's a little spurt of blood, it's really nothing. But if you look at a game like Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, when you shoot somebody in the head in that game, you feel disgusted with yourself. I mean, it is just, ugh. And especially when you use explosives in that game. Like if you throw a grenade and it lands amongst some German guys and goes off, they're going to be flying everywhere. Their arms are going to be torn off. Their legs are going to be flying through the air. I mean, that's just holy shit. And yeah, I guess when you use explosive kills in Battlefield 1, they kind of do go flying a bit, but it's not realistic. Like, there should be body parts. I mean, there's some crazy fucking shit that happens in war. So I would have liked it to be more violent. And the script overall was okay in the game, but nothing, really great. But the campaign overall, though, is probably the best campaign that has been in the series since Battlefield Bad Company 2. But again, I think the script could have been better, and maybe the story's kind of better too, or at least more character development and maybe a backstory. Because most of the characters in the game, you don't know who the fuck they are or anything really about them. So that would have been nice, but I get it. Would have been more work. And besides, I understand most people are just playing this for the multiplayer, but still, I judge games by the single-player campaign for the most part, so I think it could have been better. And some of the missions were pretty boring, like the second tank mission, you're actually having to scout ahead of your tank on foot. And the whole time I was having to do that mission, I was like, man, I was doing this back on Medal of Honor Rising Sun like 15 years ago or whatever, 12 years ago. So yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot of new or innovative stuff in this game, at least not nearly as much as there should have been. And I think the battles should have been bigger and maybe more realistic and true to World War I combat. A lot more trench stuff, a lot more, just more realistic stuff would have been appreciated. And I really would have enjoyed having the ability to give orders to fellow soldiers and stuff, like using squad tactics. That would have been a lot of fun and a lot more realistic. Again, harkening back to the Brothers in Arms games. That would have been a lot of fun. Hell, I mean, even the Mass Effect games had squad commands and stuff, so that would have been nice if they had implemented something like that in this. Especially with vehicles. I mean, imagine having wingmen and being able to give commands to fellow tanks and stuff. Like, imagine if you're in a row of tanks and you can order tanks to go over there, and then you go over here. That would have been pretty fucking cool. Instead of you just running around kicking ass by yourself. That's not too realistic, but yeah, I mean, it's typical first-person shooter stuff, but I was just hoping that Battlefield 1, for the most part, would be more innovative and not just same old first-person shooter stuff. Because, I mean, this is the first World War I game to be made by a huge company. And they spent a lot of money on this game, so I would have liked a little more innovation, uniqueness, and just a totally different and better experience than what I got. So I'm a little disappointed, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy to have a badass World War I first-person shooter, because World War I deserves a lot more attention than it's gotten. And I'm grateful for all the attention that it has been getting since the centenary, with the Great War Channel and a bunch of documentaries coming out about it. So it is getting more and more attention, and that's a good thing. So I am happy about that. And don't get me wrong, I really do like this game, and I can't wait to see the stuff they add to it, but just for right now, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but it's still a very, very good first-person shooter game. So if you haven't checked it out, man. That's great. And if you do, be sure to look me and Oompy up. I think you can guess our gamer tags by now.